Welcome to Wise Wolf. I'm coming to you tonight under the full pink moon of April 2026, the first full moon of spring and the opening of a new season. Tonight the moon is full and the earth is crossing a threshold. The pink moon is named for wild phlox, Phlox subulata, a ground cover flower that blooms across temperate regions right around this time every year. It doesn't look pink from above. It grows in low patches close to the soil in colors from pale lavender to deep rose. It blooms not because of any single event, but because a threshold has been crossed. Soil temperatures in most temperate zones are now between 8 and 12 degrees Celsius, the precise window in which the majority of spring ground cover plants activate. The birds, the mayflies, everything responding to conditions, nothing performing, everything crossing its threshold exactly when the threshold is reached. Over the next 6 lunar months, Wise Wolf will explore philosophies of non-duality, the ancient perspective that behind every difference, every division, lies a single infinite awareness. Non-duality, Advaita Vedanta, teaches that the self and the world are not two things, but one continuous field of seeing. The moon asks nothing of what it illuminates. The river carries everything without complaint. The phlox opens when the threshold is crossed, not when it feels ready to do so, not when the ground has earned it. Beneath the sorting, beneath the audit, beneath the eye that needs to know where it stands, something has never been divided. The jewel catches the light, but the light never belonged to the jewel. Same ground, different flowers. Same water, different names. Same awareness, looking out through every pair of eyes that has ever opened on this earth. Advaita means something that is not two. What it points at is something more precise, that the awareness through which all of these differences are perceived is not itself divided. It doesn't classify, it doesn't rank. It is, in exactly the way the moonlight tonight is, falling on everything, asking nothing, making no distinctions, no judgments between what it illuminates. The eye maker, the function of the mind that draws a boundary around itself and then spends energy defending that boundary. It's not wrong to have a self. It's how we function as human beings. But the eye maker isn't the same thing as awareness. The eye maker is what awareness looks like when it has contracted around a particular story. You are that awareness, not the story the eye maker has been building, not the cut of the gem, but the light itself, the thing that was there before the facets and will be there after. A river carries light and shadow in the same water. It doesn't maintain a preferred image of itself. A cloud passes, the cloud is there. The sun comes out, the sun is there. It receives everything, moves around everything, keeps going. Unlike the mirror, it doesn't invert. Unlike the jewel, it doesn't refract. It simply carries. And in the Upanishads, rivers are the image of what happens when individual awareness stops insisting on its own separate name. The rivers don't disappear, the water continues. It just stops needing a separate name for itself. There's a difference between discernment and division. Discernment sees clearly, it reads the temperature, it crosses the threshold at exactly the right moment. Division needs a winner. The phlox doesn't decide which soil deserves it. The full moon illuminates the whole earth. It touches everything equally. The phlox that opened today and the seed that isn't ready yet. It doesn't distinguish between rich and poor, white or black, child or adult, male or female. It just shines its light on everyone. Non-duality, points to the fact that reality is not fundamentally split into separate parts, me, you, inner, outer, subject, object, and the I am points to the bare sense of being that is prior to any story about who you are. In Indian traditions, non-duality translates in Sanskrit to Advaita, literally meaning non-two, pointing to an underlying wholeness of life rather than many independently existing fragments. What we usually live as me in here and the world out there is seen as a mental construction. At the level of direct experience, there is one seamless field in which sensations, thoughts, feelings, and perceptions appear. The apparent division between the one who is aware and what is aware of is seen through. Awareness and its content are not two aspects of one reality. Suffering is largely tied to identification as a separate ego self struggling against the world. When that separation relaxes, there is often a natural sense of ease, intimacy with life, and reduced compulsive seeking. What you are as awareness is not any object. It is the open, borderless knowing in which all of these come and go. On the identity level, every self-description builds on I am a woman, I am a musician, I am good enough or I am not good enough, I am powerful, I am beautiful. These I am plus story or agenda or some kind of external description, these statements shape your felt identity, emotions, behaviors, and therefore your life trajectory. Shifting them to I am learning, I am growing can have very concrete psychological and behavioral effects. On the non-dual level, however, if you strip away all qualifiers and just stay with the raw sense I am, there is simply the fact of being without any content. Not I am this or I am that, just being. I am. This naked I am is a direct taste of awareness knowing itself. The one who knows and what is known are the same. It is not a feeling, thought, or image, but the ever-present fact of existing, being aware. Many non-dual teachings and many modern teachers use rest as I am as a doorway. First, recognize I am as pure presence, then see that this presence is not personal, not limited by body-mind, and is the same awareness in which world appears. Practical exercise you can try in meditation is you sit quietly and let attention relax from objects, sensations, sounds, thoughts without trying to get rid of them, and gently notice I know that I am. Stay with the simple fact before adding any description and any thought like I am this body, I am this history, I am this emotion, and this is what happened. See if you can rest as the prior, contentless sense of being that is just here. Notice that this being or awareness is unchanged by whatever passes through it. I am is the most intimate, immediate taste of non-dual reality, the awareness of being that is not separate from what is. As this I am is explored, the personal layers, I am this person with this story, this history, loosen, revealing that the same presence is the ground of both self and world. In lived experience, this can show up as less fixation on the personal narrative, more spontaneous compassion and creativity, and a sense that life is happening as one movement rather than me versus life. The Upanishads say, Tat Tvam Asi, thou art that. You are that consciousness which beholds all things. This is non-duality, good and evil, joy and sorrow, sound and silence, all currents of the same awareness. The mind calls them two, the opposites. Awareness knows them as one. As rivers lose name and form upon reaching the ocean, so the wise, freed from name and form, merge into the infinite reality. To realize this is not to flee the world, but to see it as it is, living, changing, never apart from what watches it. When this understanding ripens, life remains ordinary, yet utterly transformed. Compassion arises effortlessly, creativity flows freely. Without the burden of proving, expression becomes communion with the whole. Courage deepens. You still feel fear, but something larger holds it, an awareness untouched by what passes through it. Beyond it lies what sages call Advaita Vedanta, the understanding that reality is one, undivided, infinite. The infinite within each heart is not separate from the infinite outside it. One mirror reflects the world as two, me here, you there, the gap in between. Polished clean, it cracks no more, no me to claim, no world apart, just seeing, seamless from the start. His gaze in every glance, silence sings the endless dance. No two to meet, no one to part. Cave holds the storm, plays every part. Flame dances wild, then yields to night. Witness alone, eternal light. His gaze through these eyes, no veil remains, no thin disguise. World rises, falls in silent sea. You are that. Believe. Be free. That's all for today. Thank you for joining me under this full pink moon, the first moon of a lunar year. When you finish listening, make sure to step outside if you can. Look up, let the moonlight fall across your face. No choosing, no dividing, just a quiet reminder that awareness makes no distinctions. Until our paths cross again on the next moon, walk gently, love fully, and remember, in truth, there has never been two.